That was a nasty force.
So this is the March 20th, 2018 Building Station Committee meeting for the town of Lakeville. And is anybody else taping the meeting other than LakeCAM? Doesn't look like that's the case. Our first order of business is to review bids for our new police station. Turn it over to you guys.
Great. We're gonna, Brian and I are gonna kind of tag team this, but we got very good news. We got our bids in last week. First of all, our sub bids that came in 2 weeks prior came in under budget, and we were very happy where those all fell. So then when everything came in last week, actually everything came in even better than we thought. Even the highest bid was slightly under where we estimated it to be at. So, and they're all grouped very tightly. At first, we did have one low GC bid that was $1 million lower than everybody else, and we said right away they missed something. Sure enough, they called up Brian and they pulled back their bid, said they made a mistake. So that bid difference between the second lowest and the highest, became much smaller. And it's a tight grouping, which is indicative of a good set of drawings. It means everybody's looking at the same thing. So we've had early conversations with AP Whitaker. They're the low bidder here, and they're ready to go. They're very comfortable with their number. They didn't have any issue with it. They said they went at this extremely hard because they wanted the job. So Brian has some more information he'll discuss, but. Ourselves, we've worked with AP Whitaker numerous times. Nothing on the municipal side, but privately we have. We know the owner, Norm Whitaker, very well. We work well together, so we're very happy to see them. It's going to be the first time working on a municipal job with them, so it's something we feel comfortable about. I'll let Brian kind of touch about the memo that he sent out in terms of the results.
Yeah, congratulations. It's a time for me to exhale and for you to celebrate. And there's a lot of effort that goes into compiling the documents, compiling the specs, and making sure that all the bidders have information that's credible and complete when they're putting a set of bids together. This whole project is going to rely on the accuracy of our drawings and our specifications. We know that. That's why we try to do the best we can to get all the information on the drawings and get all the information clear to the contractors. So I want to step back through the process because we haven't really met in a while, and we've done a lot of things between your last meeting and this meeting. So we should just inform you of what that process was and how it went and what we had to do in certain parts of it. We did hold a pre-bid conference, and it gave anybody who was interested a chance to come and ask questions, and we reviewed the documents. There were some things that we wanted to stress to contractors that they were clear on when they submitted a bid. And just for example, we wanted to be very clear to the contractors what the alternate 1 and alternate 2 bid was. I spelled it out on the contract documents and in the specifications, and I also reiterated at the pre-bid. My concern with the alternates is you were going to get a price for a 7-car carport, and then they were going to give you the entire price for the 10-car carport. And when we received some sub-bids, some of the sub-bidders treated the alternates that way. So we had a number for alternate number 1, and then we had a larger number for alternate number 2. That's not what we asked them to do. And the reason that was potentially a problem is the only way you can accept alternate 2 is to accept alternate 1. So there was a potential there that the bidders weren't going to be thorough. And when we received filed sub-bids, there was some confusion on that. So we were aware that this might happen. We put out addendums, and throughout the course of the bidding process, we issued 3 addendums, and those were all issued through our office we submit them to the Plan Distribution Center, which was Project Dog, and they know who the plan holders are, and they email those addendums out to all the bidders. When bidders submit their bid, they have to acknowledge that the bid includes the addendums. So addendum 1 was 14 pages long. It had some clarifications. It had some answers to questions that we were getting from contractors. But a big component in addendum number 1 was the town's decision to hire a private company to purchase your emergency generator and furnish it to the electrical contractor. So what we were basically doing was we were taking the emergency generator and transfer switch, which was on our drawings, and telling the bidders, don't include it in your bid, the town will provide you this equipment. And that was coordinated through Nate and the town and the police department, that you have a local contractor, provider of generators that has a good reputation in the area, and you can purchase this product off of state contract. So the concept would be, you would go out separately off state contract, procure equipment, but it was kind of a last minute that we had to get this instructions out, and we have to be very clear as to what, so we can't be vague. So addendum number 1 was really trying to describe, and we gave all the information of what generator was going to be provided, what transfer switch, what equipment, and where's the dividing line between what does the electrical contractor own and what is the town going to provide. So we tried to be as thorough as we could. I think we pulled it off. And so just know that the bid that you received does not include that emergency generator and transfer switch. Addendum number 2 was only,
Can I jump in? But we
Yes.
did get a price from that vendor on what the generator and transfer switch would be, so we do have that number in the budget.
it's in the budget that you'll see, but there's a budget at the top that says generator supplied by town. So there is a price incorporated back into your budget for that.
And it does bear noting too that that was about $20,000 less than what was estimated.
So addendum number 2 went out, and addendum number 2 was right before the filed subbids were due. It really only addressed minor items. As I said, it was only 1 page long. We did have to supplement our specifications with the automatic door opener hardware. We had the door, we had the power to the door, but we had to specify what that automatic door opener was to the vestibule door and the main door. So we got that into the scope. And that was the majority of addendum number 2. Addendum number 3 was a 1-day delay in the bid because of weather. Our bids were due on a Wednesday, but there was that last nor'easter was on the Tuesday. So originally we were thinking it didn't really affect the bid because the bids are electronic. So all you have to do is, you don't have to go and drive it anywhere, it's just electronically submitted. But contractors were making us aware that Tuesday is important for everybody to compile numbers and receive numbers, and if they were without power, computers would be down and they would not be able to receive information, which would put a crunch on Wednesday to get a bid in by 2 o'clock. So I discussed it with Taylor and with the town, and it was more important to us that you get an accurate number. And 1 day didn't make a difference to me, or didn't really make a difference to the project if it's 1 day. So we did extend the bids from a Wednesday to a Thursday. And we notified all the bidders through addendum that that was going to happen, and it seemed to go pretty flawlessly because everybody was aware of the information and submitted their bids by 2 o'clock on Thursday instead of 2 o'clock on Wednesday.
We had a lot of power outages too around here, so I think it was a good idea to push it off a day.
When we finally received bids were due at 2 o'clock. By I like this electronic bidding, because 205, we had results in our hands already. We had 9 bidders, which was very positive. We had a lot of activity on the street with this. And there were other projects on the street, but it seemed like a lot of eyes were on this project. There were a lot of things about this project that seemed to be favorable to bidders. The letter that I put together was March 19th. I think it's in your packet. It's a letter to Rita, because this recommends, it has a number of recommendations in here, and the recommendations are our recommendations to the town. So I think as part of the building committee, you might want to make similar recommendations, and I think this would probably have to go to the Board of Selectmen.
And you're meeting next Wednesday.
Excellent. So we did have 9 bids, and the low bidder was Seaver Construction. And their bid was substantially lower, and when we saw it, we knew there must have been an error. But we have to give bidders a time to react. And bids were opened at 2 o'clock, and at 2:56 I had an email, so it didn't take them long. But Seaver Construction has admitted that the bid amount that they put down for the base bid was only for the GC scope of work, and they didn't include the filed sub-bid number in that. It was a clerical error by their estimating staff. So what they have asked to do is respectfully withdraw their bid, and they're asking that we hold them harmless on their bid deposit. Because whenever they submit a bid, they're also submitting a 5% bid bond. And that bid bond is their guarantee to the town that they can perform for their bid amount. So it's our recommendation that you allow the withdrawal of Seaver Construction's bid, and you return their bond with no damage. I think everybody that puts bids together, they're all taking some risk. The bid bonds are there to protect you as the owner. But in this case, it doesn't serve the town any benefit to take on somebody who's saying that they've underbid this project. So they've put an effort into it. I think you should just, my recommendation is to no harm, no foul, and withdraw without damages. So that's one recommendation that I have in the first paragraph.
Yeah, should we,
You can do that.
yeah, let's do that. I think it's a good idea.
I make a motion that we allow Seaver Construction to withdraw their bid, without any damages.
So,
And return bid bond.
Yeah.
yes.
I second that.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries, it's unanimous.
I just have a question. Brian, do the selectmen have to vote that vote on that recommendation too, along with, okay.
Yes. Because it's a bid to the town.
Okay.
Next paragraph. So we move on to the next bidder, AP Whitaker. AP Whitaker is a company that I have heard good things about, but I have never had an opportunity to work with them. I know that they've done other police stations in the area, and I know that they have a good reputation. They have bid on a lot of our projects, but they're usually in the middle of the pack or a little number 2 bidder, number 3 bidder. I was happy to see their name, and when we looked at their bid amount, it seemed low, but it seemed like they were very close to the pack. They did leave some distance between them and the next bidder. So we reach out to AP Whitaker, and in this case, Rick Pomeroy knows Norm Whitaker, has a history with Norm. So Rick is the one that reached out to Norm and said, Norm, are you comfortable? We want to make sure that we're not signing you up into something that you're not comfortable with, or we move on to the next bidder. Just like Seaver had an opportunity to say no, we want to make sure that we're hiring somebody that is, 1, capable, but 2, comfortable. So we did get word back from AP Whitaker that yes, they were very aggressive in this bid because they want this project. They were very aggressive in wanting this project for a number of reasons. And I've since called Norm and I've talked to Norm. And one of the things that he said about was really intriguing to him about this project is he made the comment to me, if he was to set out to design a building on how to build it and constructability of that building, he said he would have designed it exactly the way I drew it. It's easy to build and it's easy to put together. It's not complicated. It was one of the reasons why he was really attracted to it. Another reason why he was attracted to it, because he has a project superintendent, which is coming off another project. And he's in a project in the New Bedford area. He lives right off of 495. And he wants to put him on this project. So it'll be closer to home for him, and he's looking to put him on this project. And so that led me to the question of, well, scheduling-wise, where does this fall in your schedule? Because when bidders put together a low bid or a bid, they might be bidding a lot of projects. We don't know what the workload is currently. We don't know how this fits. We've had situations where the contractor says, hey, it's great, I'm low bidder, but can you put it off another 4 weeks for me? Because I need to get you into my schedule. With this, it's just the opposite. Norm says the sooner the better for him, which is I'm glad to hear the selectmen are meeting, because he's aggressively wanting to start construction as soon as possible. It's not a situation where he's 4 weeks out, 5 weeks out. So I pass that on to you for information. But when we were looking at his bid and when we were evaluating his bid, they have to list filed subbidders within their categories, and they have to identify who their filed subbidders are. They listed Debrino Caulking in the category of caulking. Debrino was the low bid filed subbidder, but when they submitted, they restricted their bid to only one contractor, meaning no other contractors could list them. So he was in error by listing Debrino in that category. He should have listed the next low would have been Chapman Waterproofing. They submitted a bid, but they were non-restricted, so anybody could use them. The interesting part about that is if you substitute Chapman Waterproofing for Debrino Caulking, and if you subsequently accept alternate 1 and alternate 2, his bid amount goes down, not up. Because Debrino was low on the base bid, Chapman was next. But Debrino was high on the alternates, where Chapman was low. So it ends up to be about a $3,000 savings to the town by substituting Chapman for Debrino. It made their base bid go up, but if you accept the alternates, the total comes down. Go figure.
Can I just ask, Brian, when it said restricted, Debrino was restricting which contractor he'd work with?
Yes.
Restricting it to the only contractor he'd work with.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's a contractor that he'll only work with,
That bid on the project?
Correct.
And if he didn't get it, then
and
he's
nobody
out.
else did.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Mhm. So with this substitution request, we have to protect you as a town. Is this something we're going to get other bidders protesting? So Pomeroy Association, Pomeroy reached out to Deb Anderson, who's the Assistant Attorney General for the state. She handles a lot of, if not all of the construction-related questions in the state. And in Deb Anderson's opinion, she did not have an objection to this. It is a formality within the bid. You as a town have the right to waive formalities, and you can see that there was an error, and you can accept his substitution. So it doesn't mean that somebody won't protest it, but it means that you have pretty good standing. If somebody was to protest it, that we've made that check. So based on that, and based on the fact that Whitaker did submit with their bid, the bid bond, DCAM certification, update statement, and they did acknowledge all 3 addendums, they've completed the requirements for the bid. So we go on to page 2, which is what is the lowest and responsible eligible general bidder. So we gave a definition of what the state calls your lowest responsible and eligible bidder, and are you within your funding appropriations? So we kind of checked boxes that, check the bid was complete, check it was completely filled out, check it was within your funding. So I do recommend that the town of Lakeville designate a bid received by A.P. Whitaker and Son as the lowest responsible and eligible bidder and award a contract for construction to A.P. Whitaker in the amount of $5,592,870, which is the base bid plus alternate number 1 plus alternate number 2. So that's my next recommendation.
Okay, so moved.
Second?
Do we have any further discussion relative to that motion?
Any
Just a
questions?
question, do they have to waive what you just talked about with the Attorney General? You said if the town waives, does this committee have to vote waiving?
Well, you're accepting the bid as
Okay.
amended, and it's the bid that I've included in the packet.
Okay, no, you just said if the committee wants to waive, that's all I'm asking. If we just have to vote what you,
I think if you just vote
Okay.
that amount,
okay,
that's the revised amount,
Which we have backup on.
yes.
yep,
Right, so by voting this number, it's implicit within that vote that we're moving ahead with this substitution. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries, it's unanimous.
So we've included in the packet the bids that were received, so you can see the other bids that came in. We've included the Seaver email asking withdrawal, and we've included the A.P. Whitaker letter explaining their error in the filed subbid. So now you're gonna ask, how comfortable am I? Well, when we put the bids together, when we put the drawings together, where might still be a little uncomfortable. I'm always uncomfortable for some reason. We've got to get this project done. We're going to get it done. I'm very comfortable with A.P. Whitaker and the number. But there are some things that I want to bring up to you as a committee that we still have to think about. When we were putting the site plan together, we were relying on Jamie and his company to put the site drawings together. When we ask for final documents, we typically get plans and specifications. And he submitted his drawings, and then I reached out and I said, well, where are your specs? And he says, no, we don't do specs. All of our specs are on our drawings. Which I wasn't expecting. I was expecting book specs for his site packages. So I really spent some time making sure his drawings had the information on it that we would typically see in a spec format. And it raised some questions during the bidding. Some of the contractors actually asked, where are the site specs? And the response was, they're on the drawings. So whatever information is on the drawings, that's the information they bid on. I'm not saying that Jamie didn't do a good job. I'm just saying that, well, what are some flags that I can bring up to say we've got to pay attention to this? And that was one that I didn't expect. So it's one that I just want to get through the site work and make sure that there's not any confusion because we didn't provide specifications along with drawings. Maybe nothing, maybe just me being me. But I wanted to point that out. propane gas service to the project. We have it all designed for propane, but we don't have on our drawings the solution for the propane. It was always talked about the town could buy the tank, the town could lease the tank, the town could, you still have to make a decision on what you want to do for a propane solution. And maybe because of the bids, maybe you want to consider buying a propane tank now and owning the tank instead of leasing the tank. But there's still that solution that we need to have you assist us with as to if you want to go direct to a vendor and a lease, which is an option, or if you want to buy a tank and get it filled. So we can talk about that later, but there's still that component that's not completed on our drawings. So that's another. The emergency generator, I think that was a good solution. We were all for trying to coordinate that for you and incorporate that. But we need to now take the next step and get that procured, have it available, so we're not slowing anybody down and it's available when they need it. So the emergency generator is one.
The pad for the generators in the plants, though, right?
Well, that's exactly the coordination that we had to make sure what's the dividing line.
Yeah.
So we have the general contractor providing the pad, and that's why we gave them the size of the generator that's being provided. So if anything changes on that, it would change the pad
Right.
size. So that's, yes, the GC is providing the pad.
Can I back up to the propane gas service?
Mhm.
Can't we make that decision now? Because the COA, we bought the tank, we own it. Instead of
Yeah, I can
having
say
this-
from my own perspective that we buy the tank, we're able to get a better competitive rate on cost per
Service.
unit. And we're able to bid multiple companies to get the lowest rate. What we've seen in the past is tanks that we own, when we change vendors, we gotta change all the tanks.
That's right.
So there's significant cost to that. So, I would suggest that we buy the tank. I don't know if it's helpful to discuss that now and be done with it, or just in the future.
I think that's the recommendation I would make too. You have some funds, buy the tank, you can be competitive on service provider and go to any service provider you want.
So if we have the specs, we can procure that too, at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just bought one?
No, the senior center is 11 years old, I think.
Okay.
But we found, we changed vendors when we went out to bid, and with Jason Gas now, we found a lot of problems with Robies on the tanks that we were leasing. But, and Ted Williams, did we purchase, I think,
No, we don't. We only own the COA right now.
because I thought we had an underground tank at Ted Williams. No?
I can say it's a hassle when we have to swap out tanks. I mean, we
Yeah.
dealt with it here, so it
Yeah.
is
This
a
last
simple
go-round was
process
horrible.
to have that, own that
But
tank.
it was easy with the COA because we owned it,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. But just to know the cost of that tank is not in your bid. The contractor doesn't have anything in there to go out and buy a tank. So
Is that underground? I forget.
it could be.
The one at the COA
No, I'm
is,
talking about the one at the police station.
I don't know as though there's any specs on it.
No.
This
No, no, the one, the news station.
Oh, yeah, did we?
I would think you'd want it
I would think
underground,
so,
you don't
too.
want
Yeah.
Target on
You're
the
gonna buy
side
it.
by the field.
I think so too.
But there's no tank right now, and there's no excavation, there's no installation. So the tank is still, because we don't have a solution yet. It could have been an above-ground tank leased on a pad. It wouldn't have cost you much. But I think you want to
remember how
go,
big the tank was.
I think you have about 1,000-gallon tank, which we could put in the ground.
Yeah.
So we'll work on that.
So it's something we can coordinate. We have some time, but it's still on the agenda to kind of, check off.
Is that something we, since we won't need a pad and we put it in the ground, is something we can negotiate with Mr. Whitaker?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, something we could do, just
Absolutely.
move ahead with purchasing the tank and negotiate with Mr.
Absolutely.
Whitaker.
The geotechnical report. The geotechnical report, we had borings taken across the site. One end of the site, we didn't find much fill at all. As you migrate to the other side of the site, there's about a 2 feet fill that has to come out. So it's very difficult to try to quantify this when you're going out to bid. How much do you have to take out? So what we did on our drawings is we've instructed the contractor that within the footprint of the building, they own 2 feet of excavation and 2 feet of structural fill throughout the entire 12,000 square feet area of the building. Now, based on the borings, you don't need that much. But we don't know if it's 2 feet here or 3 feet here and 1 foot there and 0 feet over here. We don't know until they start to dig. So my recommendation is to have the geotechnical engineer on site, pay them to be here, and observe the excavation so they can say, you don't have to go any further. Yes, you might have to go further. And then we'll have people there to measure how much excavation that was. And we know we own 2 feet across, we know what the quantity that is. It's gonna be good insurance for you. It's gonna be good insurance to make sure all the fill is out. And we don't know where that line goes. So there may have to be there probably will be some adjustment in that number, in that quantity, but we just won't know that until it's all excavated and it's all out. But I think we were trying to be conservative on the high side
Yeah, I think we're ahead of the game right now.
to say 2 feet across the building. We just own that much. So if they start over here and it's 0, and they go to 2 feet, then we have twice as much as we need. But if they have to go 4 feet or 5 feet in some areas, they're just gonna have to start chasing it. Having a geotechnical engineer on site to assist you would make sure that the contractor's not making that decision. The engineer's making that decision, and they're the ones that are gonna certify that what's filled and what's virgin. It also states that you wanna take it out through the parking lot also, which is, it's not structural fill in that area that we have to replace it with, but it's just gravel base. So anytime we have to do excavations like that, it might be worth your dollars to get somebody there to put their eyes on it and make sure you're not paying for more than you need to pay for.
So the engineer is not in the budget at this point?
No, it is.
Is it?
We already do have a geotech on board. It's the same geotech that did our borings.
Yeah.
So we're carrying, 10 grand for the geotech right now.
Okay,
So it is in our budget.
that covers that field observation.
Yeah, it should be plenty.
Once we're out of the ground, all those issues go away, and it should be pretty straightforward at that time. But just know that that's something that you always wonder, especially when the board, we only have maybe 8 borings across the whole site, so you only know 8 spots. We'll know more when they start to excavate everything.
And it's not a big footprint either. They'll know pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So,
And soil doesn't always go from red to green, so it's not even easy to see that sometimes. Geotech engineers know what they're looking for. So that's another thing to bring up. And the water line, we helped coordinate the bid for the water line. We've been working with Ken Mata, compiling his drawings and specs. That is out to bid right now, and bids are due tomorrow. So we're gonna know more on the water line number come tomorrow at 2 o'clock. We did post one addendum for that, and Ken prepared it. We just posted it. So that process has been going pretty well. And Ken told me that he says there are a lot of eyes on that project
yeah,
too.
there is.
So you might win both of these, so. There's $270,000 right now, which is set aside for that scope.
Ken called me today, and I took it upon myself. He had asked, because I know in previous projects that Ken Mata has done with the city of Taunton, that we want someone on site.
I spoke with him today about this
Okay,
too.
and
Yeah.
I recommended, yeah, we've always had, and he knows when the Taunton Water Department has to be out there for inspection, so I said yes. So he was gonna prepare whatever it was.
Yeah, after I spoke to him, I said, yes, I agree with you, but I don't think we need somebody there full-time. You know, it could be something that he does on a part-time basis, you know, checks in the morning and then maybe at the end of the day, or he's there every other day, because it's a lot of the same type of work moving forward. But he said that he can coordinate the water district and help that process along.
Okay.
So the proposal that he's going to give us isn't for full-time representation there. And what I was thinking too is if they start work around the same time that we have somebody on site, you know, we're going to have somebody there checking on the work anyway, but
Okay.
we're going to be there anyway, but we'll coordinate that work with Ken.
So if bids are due at 2 o'clock, I'll probably be notified at 2:05. Again, here are the numbers, and I can pass them on and have you look at those. Integrated technology. Integrated technology is still a package that needs to be bid. This was a package that we deliberately held back because we did not recommend it going into the electrical contractor's scope. So we have a specification prepared and we have drawings prepared. And now it's just a question of how do you want us to go out and procure integrated technology services? And that's cameras, access control, intercom, cell checks, you know, all the other low voltage systems that make the police station really function and are vitally important. That's why we want to hold those back. We have vendors that are interested in bidding that. And what I would recommend, and I think Taylor is talking with Taylor, is that we go off a state contract for that service. There's an FC64 contract for security, and the qualified contractors are on that list. So we could pick some off that list that we like and have good experiences with and get pricing to bring back to you. Or you can elect to go out, open bid on the street and see what that, you're shaking your head already.
You might not get somebody you really don't care for, so. Somebody maybe with some experience.
Yeah.
And just take it off the list and we can discuss it, you know.
Yeah, we can work or pick companies we've worked with in the past.
Yeah, because if you're just putting it out there bid, you could just get about anybody.
And we have time on this. They won't have to be on site
Right.
until summertime, probably. There's a lot of work that has to be done before we need to know who that vendor is. But if you're interested in doing it right away, we are ready to go if you want to do it as soon as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so, yeah. Move forward.
The budget has $200,000 in it, so that $200,000 was the estimate.
The high estimate.
I think we've had estimates about 180,
Yeah.
so we put 200 in the project budget. So if there are names of those vendors that you're wanting us to invite, let us know that. If not, I know some.
Call around too, maybe,
Yeah.
you know, a few of the new police departments that have been built and kind of, you know, see who they had luck with too.
Right,
And see if they're on state contract.
Exactly.
exactly, yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
Chief, do I assume you reviewed these specs?
Yeah, when, you know, we went over them with Brian, so we're all comfortable and
Okay, what is the security system access to the building gonna look like?
We have card readers and
Cameras.
cameras.
You don't wanna go with the key fobs?
Well, it is. It's a fob and card.
Oh, okay.
It could be either or.
We had
so.
we have it
pricing-
spec that they get 100 cards and 100 fobs. And I said, why 100? Because that's what they order them in. It's just 100 lot, you know, so it's,
Right, that's strange.
Yeah.
That's- You're right.
Wow.
There's one thing I was just thinking. They're gonna be cards with every door and cameras. Evidence room, is there any way, would it cost me too much to put a fingerprint reader on the evidence room?
no, it's possible, but what we've done on the evidence is a 2-credential entry. It's a card plus keypad code.
Yeah, see, I'm just thinking you could even do 2 fingerprints, so somebody can't take somebody else's card, or even though you have cameras, because
Yeah.
that seems like a liability.
The two credentials, it's why we did the keypad card,
Right.
because you just can't, oh, there's somebody's fob laying on the desk, I'm just gonna go over and use the fob. Well, you still don't know the code.
Right.
So the code is specific also to the person, so that's the second credential and evidence. So that's what we've put on the door right now, that
Okay.
2 credentials get you into that.
And that's
room.
all logged via computer too, so you
Yeah.
can double check that.
With a
Exactly.
camera in the ceiling right there looking at you. so.
Is there any other security cameras around the building?
We have some on the exterior,
Yeah, various
so we
points,
have perimeter of the building. We have one that's on a pole at the entrance. And that pole mounted camera is a 360-degree camera. So you could be looking at your curb cut, the park curb cut, all of the parking lot, public parking lot. And then we have them off the Sallyport exterior, so we're looking at all the staff parking
Mhm.
out to the outbuilding. And those are 270-degree cameras.
Mhm. Booking area.
Within the cells, within prisoner processing, it's both audio and video.
Right, good.
Within the Sallyport, it's audio and video.
Mhm.
And then we have interview room recording systems in 2 cameras plus microphone
Mhm.
in every interview space.
In the lobby too, right?
The lobby, and we even put one in the training classroom. In addition to LakeCAM's locations,
Mhm.
we also have a camera that goes off of your system.
We have one in that interview room too, off dispatch, I mean, off the lobby too.
Mhm.
Don't tell everybody where they are.
We'll
There's
see.
a lot more.
Right,
I don't think there won't be anything.
And we have a couple
public
covert,
areas.
we have a couple covert cameras in there in the interview rooms too.
Not gonna be
Like that light switch over there could be a
It's a fun
camera.
one.
I'm not gonna tell you, but
What do you recommend as far as like a retention on the server, how long this video can be?
we have 30 days.
Just 30 days? Okay.
That's what we have, yeah. So,
We might want to go beyond it. Well, we'll see what the
Yeah,
price is going
I-
to
It's
be.
It's
just
a-
storage, and,
Yeah.
and if you wanted to say 60 days,
Mm.
that's great, but it just, we'll have a change order
Just
for
need
the
more-
additional 30
Okay.
more
days.
size to the
Yeah,
server.
that's, yeah.
Yeah, the cost jumps up pretty high.
Yeah, I'm
the
sure
more,
it does, yeah.
The more time you try to store on that.
So it's, the way we have the
It runs
servers
continuous.
specified is it's all cameras
Mhm.
at a certain frame rate,
Right.
at certain motion
Mhm.
equals your server size.
Mhm.
So they have to give us the calculations.
Okay.
And some cameras are recorded 100%, some are 50% based on motion,
Right.
but we have to have a certain frame rate on those too.
Mhm.
That's what we had to do here because they were running continuous. It was eating up,
Yeah.
too much of the storage, so, now it's, you have to have some that are motion activated.
It
Now,
cuts down on your
Is the
storage.
servers where you could back them up every 30 days?
Yep.
And so you're gonna have your files. Because you never know if you're gonna have to go back 6 months or.
Mhm.
Either that, or you can back it up on a stick.
Mhm.
It's a big stick.
It's a big, yeah, well,
And that'll be things we confer with IT, I think.
Yeah.
something we can
That-
talk
The
with.
best
you're
idea
doing
is
that.
to look into cloud storage.
Right.
Yeah,
And you
you go.
just, every
Yeah.
30 days, you're taking it out.
That's a good idea.
And I think we'll have to obviously have meetings with Tim,
Yep.
not public meetings as well too, because they would fall under the, as far as security.
Security.
that
Yeah.
We can have those discussions.
Mhm.
I think I know the answer, but having to do with security, if the town decides that they want to put some security center cameras down at the Tim Williams camp or the library or the senior center, remotely, then there's no reason why that the police station can't access those live.
There isn't. You'd have to coordinate the software. So you can't run, say, a milestone system on one in your schools and a Genetech system in your police department and try to have them talk to each other.
Right.
So you have to try to get your softwares to align. But if there's a remote camera, they have cameras that are web-based now, that if you get a link back to the police station, you can tie it into your system.
That's what we have now, some web-based that, that we're able to view and dispatch. But
Okay.
you could probably have something, I'm sure, integrated with our system that we have, at least for the camp. that
That's
kind
just
of
one
asked for that
example.
for years
That's
with,
a good idea.
to have something in the
And I
camp.
think that the security in the whole town needs to be improved.
Even your schools, you know.
Oh, yeah, it's
Yep.
Right.
absolutely something that we need to visit, and I think, and we've talked about that with,
It's in our
John
strategic
Baca?
plan.
yeah, I
Yes.
mean, we have a focus on that because
Janet,
we have the capacity with our internet access to do a lot more than we do. And it's really a matter of developing a plan and then implementing it and getting it paid for. That's always a challenge. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that I know that we've talked about.
So if we purchased it, we'd make sure whatever we purchase is gonna.
Yeah, you just have to
Yeah,
coordinate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the spec is written around Genetec, which is a security software that it does play well with other softwares. It's one of the few that doesn't allow anything else, so. Doesn't not allow anything else.
So that's my list of still to keep your eyes open for, still to think about. I think when we plugged the numbers back into the budget, and we accommodated, and this is what Taylor put together.
Yeah.
We did accommodate for the generator, we did put the water main, we did plug everything back in, and it's about a $500,000 add-year contingency at this point in time.
Yeah, the budget, I'll run through this, and I'll help everybody understand why, even with the things that Brian pointed out, we're very comfortable with where things, stand today. I left in our schematic cost estimate on the left-hand side, and then put that against the bids received last Thursday. The top part of that is your construction costs only. And so what I did there was I actually pulled the contingency out that we were carrying for our construction contingency and put it down at the bottom. I rolled everything into one project contingency. We had a soft cost contingency and a construction contingency. It's really coming out of the same bucket. It makes sense to combine it. So that's what I did at the top. So that you see our two different numbers there, our schematic cost estimate, 6.3, and our bid at the end of the day came in at 5.5. I thought it was interesting to see the outbuilding where we were getting, if you remember, we were at 700,000 or 800,000 with our two estimates at DD. And we talked about, Brian working on getting that number down to where it was realistic again.
I beat it up a little.
We knew there was some inflation in those estimates too, but you'll see that that number came in, a lot better than even where we were at schematic design, so that came right back in line. So if you look below the two construction numbers, what I did was I added back in the generator and the water main, which we'll find out tomorrow where that's coming in. But then I also took out the funds that we had talked about the town had for the water main. So that brought our total construction cost to a little over 5.6. Down below, the changes that were made, I was able to confirm some pricing. Really from line 12 to 16, there was no changes there. That's our contract and the architect's contract. Commissioning agent, we've been carrying 20 grand for that. I have a hard price from WSP for 14 grand. We'll probably have to grab two more prices for that to fulfill our bidding requirements, but that's just showing that it's already trending low there. Third-party estimates, we did save some money there. We're still carrying 10 grand, but we only used one of those third-party estimates, so that number is even going to be below that 10 grand for some savings. Land survey was already completed. Geotechnical engineering, we already talked about that. This is the money we're carrying to have the geotech on site. Legal fees, I just need to confirm with the town if any of that money was spent. If not, that can go into our contingency if there was any legal reviews that were done.
I think the only thing we sent, Nate, was the bids Mark Rich reviewed.
The specs.
Yeah, the specs. I'll have to check, just got a bill from them, so I'll.
Yeah, it's usually not too much is eaten up there, but I'll
Yeah.
probably leave that just as 5,000 in case there's anything that pops up. We don't feel there will be, but we'll just keep it open. Furniture and furnishings, line 22, the 137,000 was a number we came up with based on square footages. Since then, we've sat down with WB Mason, and they're actually below 100 grand right now. So there may be a couple things that we add to that. It was our first go-around with them, but we're right in line with our furniture estimates, which
Where
is
do
great.
lockers fall in? Because it doesn't fall, is that part of that 137?
We specified the lockers.
Okay.
Yeah, that's in your construction number.
Okay.
Dispatch consoles, we're still carrying 75 grand there, which I think is a perfect estimate for that. 24 is what Brian was talking about with the security vendor. Before, this number was rolled into your estimate. So that was on your construction side before. Now it's in your soft costs after bid because we did pull that out. So we're estimating 200 grand there, which we think should be fine for that. Phone system, no change there. I have spoken to Tim Gravars. He is working on that. So I'll have some numbers from him, hoping soon. Again, no change in miscellaneous equipment either. Our communications and radios, I actually just got back our kind of first draft from Chick Langone yesterday. I have not been able to look at it because he sent it to me in a Dropbox and I haven't been able to open it. But I'll be able to confirm that number. Either way, that 150 should be good. And I think...
Can I just ask, that's just police radios,
Correct.
right? Okay.
Correct. But the full report did
fire.
include fire and DPW.
DPW.
Yeah, so we're going to have to look where that
Okay.
line is.
You're talking a click of a mouse as far as dropping down the frequencies, so it's not really an equipment. You're talking police, fire, so I don't think that's really gonna make a difference. 'Cause you're not purchasing equipment, you're not purchasing, radios for fire apparatus.
I think the way he looked at it was upgrading police, fire, and DPW. So he might have some equipment prices in there.
He thought we were gonna be fine within the 150.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I'm just saying he tends to give you kind of worst case scenario. If you guys need to replace everything, here's what you need. So he gives you kind of a plan to work with for the
So I know
future.
the radios for highway, and I think there's real problems with the fire department too.
Yeah, he was aware of that whole
Okay.
firebox issue, and I know that's in there.
Okay.
And then everything from 30 down to 33, they're just all typical amounts that we carry. No major changes there. So what that all boils down to is a total development cost. The only thing that changed there really was the 200,000. So that's the increase you see from the 1.3 to the 1.5, which gives us a subtotal of 7.9 at schematic, and we're at 7.2 with our bids in. And then I brought it all back into that 8.7 number that we've been working from at our schematic design, which gives us a project contingency of 1.4 million at this point. So
That's pretty high, right?
that's very
Very high.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
High is good
Right.
yeah.
when talking contingency. It doesn't mean we're going to spend it. The goal is not to.
Right.
But there is going to be things that pop up. And if you remember, there were some things we took out of this project early on when we did some value engineering. So there's some things we can talk about possibly getting back in the project.
At 1.4, and I have no authority to spend your money, so this is just your decision, has to be your decision. But at 1.4, you're more than flush at this point of the project. There are some things we took out. The best value that you can have as a town is not to change a thing. The best value is have them build according to plans and specs. Because whenever you get into a change order condition, the value swings to the contractor.
Exactly.
The value swings away from the owner. So know that the bid, what we have, is your greatest value. But that doesn't mean you can't change things too. And the contractor will work with you to see what the pricing could be if you wanted to modify anything. But just know your value swings away. The outbuilding, for instance. We originally had plumbing going out there. There was a sink, there was some water going out there. We pulled all the plumbing back. But we added conduits out there in case you wanted to run PEX piping and run it through the conduit. And we have it coming right back into the water supply. So we have a way to get plumbing out to the outbuilding. We have conduits to get security systems out to the outbuilding, but we didn't put any cameras or access control in the outbuilding. Those are some of the things that we kind of said we've got to pull back a little bit because we were seeing outbuilding pricing that was impacting the bid. We changed the siding on the outbuilding, but I think we changed it to something that you recommended, was the horizontal siding.
Yeah.
We took cupolas off, but these things are things we could put back.
Nate and I are gonna put one on it.
$5,000.
Right.
The sooner you can think about those things and the sooner we can get to the contractor, the better. Because what the contractor is going to start to do immediately is assemble his team and assemble his submittals. And when he starts sending submittals in, we look at them and we say, compared to the drawings, yes, approved. Go out and purchase this. Once they purchase it, then your value really goes to zero. Because then to have them change it, you've already bought one thing, you're going to buy a second thing. So, but if we can get to decisions that you want to make prior to them saying, here's my submittal, okay, don't submit that, submit this instead. Then we try to get the value back on your side. I'm not saying we need to change anything, but when you're looking at numbers like this, you do have an opportunity, instead of saying, you know, we're forced into just taking what we have on the drawings and specs. I think you have a very attractive building. I think you have a very complete building. The main building itself, I can't wait to see it go together because I already know what it's going to look like. We put this together because this represents the building that went out to bid. The rendering that you had before was our schematic design rendering. Things have changed a little bit on the building from schematic design to bid, and this represents what the building will look like when it's constructed if you hold to the drawings and hold to the specs. So it's continues to be your project, your building, your town, your money. We're just trying to help manage it the best we can, and so far so good. But,
I have a question. Where do we stand on the curb cut?
curb cut permit is just being submitted now.
I'm signing it tomorrow and submitting it to Mass DOT.
We don't foresee any issues with it.
Good.
We had planning board approval. We need a contract, and I gave you a draft agreement. That is the agreement that the town attorney had forwarded to me.
Okay, I was gonna say, has town council seen this?
So it's a form that they've given to me and said they wanted me to put that into the
Pretty short.
specifications.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I
it is.
said.
It's just a couple pages. That's all you need.
It's the one I'm gonna start using from now on for
Yeah.
everything else, for that 20-page document.
Yep, that's all you need. It's 2 pages.
And then, usually, once everything's set, notice to proceed.
First is
Notice
the
of
notice of award, notice of intent.
Okay.
That would, once the selectmen make a vote, we would recommend that a notice of intent, notice of award go out immediately to A.P. Whitaker. What that says is, we're intending to sign a contract with you, but you need to first get your bonds in place, payment and performance bonds, and you need to get your insurance certificates in place. Because we won't be signing it until we see those. So it gives them an opportunity to then, because they have to spend money to do that. To get their bonds, it costs them money. So that notice of award, notice of intent, means that they'll go spend money and get their bonds, submit those, and once they submit those, then you can sign the agreement.
In conjunction with that too, we need to procure our builder's risk, because that was pulled out
Yeah,
of our documents, so we have a budget number for it,
right.
but it's something that
And
we have
I think it
to.
was 10,000, I
Yeah.
think I had given you a number.
Yep.
Can I just ask a question on the heat? G&H Heating and Cooling, have you worked with them before?
I have not worked with G&H, no.
That's always,
The bid was substantially less too, right?
It was lower than the estimate, yeah.
I don't know what the number 2 on that category was. I don't know who the second bidder was. I could find out.
No, I'm just concerned, did they miss something?
yeah,
you know?
we don't have good luck with the HVAC people.
The nice part about that is we did go with the commissioning, so.
Yeah,
Correct.
Yeah,
We have worked with Yankee Sprinkler. We have worked with LaPan on a number of projects. LaPan has been very good. Wayne G. Griffin Electric. We've had very good history with Wayne Griffin Electric. They have very knowledgeable staff on site. They hold to the plans, they hold to the specs. They will give you a very professional installation. West floor covering is both your resilient flooring and your ceramic tile is West floor covering. We've had numerous projects with them. They always are aggressive in their numbers, but they perform very well. Central ceilings, numerous projects with central ceilings. No issues. Belcor, the last project I had with Belcor was a Pomeroy project in Norwell, Mass. They were the roofing contractor for Norwell Police,
They were great.
and it was a shingle roof there too.
Yeah, same goes for us. We've worked with every single sub-bidder here. I don't have a bad thing to say of any of them besides G&H. We just haven't worked with them. I think you have one of the better, if not the best, mason on the job. Commercial masonry is great.
Is that Luca?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's good.
Walter's good guy.
They were a really great team.
Oh, yeah. So G&H you haven't worked with.
No.
What do we know about them?
Not much.
I can't offer anything.
Their DCAM was fine. Their DCAM review was fine. They had fine scores. We can dig a little further in the meantime.
do they list other projects?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I
we can
think
do
they're
some
local.
reference calls.
Weren't they local? Weren't they like Freetown or something? I think they're really local.
I just looked at their DCAM first.
Freetown.
Be nice.
We share a school with Freetown. There's always a little acrimony around
Oh,
budget
okay.
season.
Always is.
Guess I need to know that. I thought they were local.
Write that one down.
That's like the last time I'm saying that.
This one, or you want to authorize me?
I think they were really close to you.
They
I
were.
think that was the interest.
Yeah.
I think they're really.
I just looked quickly at DCAM and they were fine.
Yeah.
Over the next week, before the selectmen's meeting, we'll do some digging and see if we can find out some more about them. It's the only issue with the sub-bid bids. Our process is it's very tough to reject a sub-bid. So I don't want to say you're stuck with it, but you have to find a really good reason to reject a sub-bid, and they would protest it anyway.
And being a VRF system here, it's should be pretty reliable. These are just almost plug and play cassettes and ceiling units. VRF is,
You're out of Freetown.
that's what I thought, yeah. I think
You're gonna
I-
Google it? I was just gonna Google it.
County Road.
Yeah, I remember they were, I'm not saying.
They were a company that works on the library there.
What?
What's the company that works on
No,
the
they
library?
went, New
I wonder
England
if I can see.
piping.
No, the one that maintains it now.
Oh, maybe it is.
If it is, they're very, very good.
Okay.
So we'll ask.
I'll check that tomorrow.
Yeah,
No, if
can
it's
you
the
check
same
on that for
company,
me?
they're very, very good.
Okay. You'll check?
133
Or
Yeah, I'll
you-
check tomorrow.
Okay.
What was it on the line?
I remember that's probably why they were really check.
It's the midnight
Let's see what they're up
It's
to
good
right
that
now.
G&H.
local, you know, which is nice.
It's,
I'm gonna pull up their bid quick and just see if,
Taylor, what's the full name of the company? G&H what?
Heating and cooling and heating?
yeah, G&H Heating and Cooling.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I agree, it's very important, especially in the past, I mean, especially with police stations, cells.
We've had trouble with our
Yeah.
COA, the library, the schools.
Yeah, that was the architect.
That's what it usually is.
We had pretty pictures, right?
Chief, do you have the 3 sets of plans and specs that are still in this building? Or if they get wet, you threw them out?
Is that what's over there?
No, they're big rolls.
So, G&H's bid,
Oh, they're in the, probably there.
G&H was $400,000, the next lowest was $417, and then,
No, it wasn't.
and then $428, $432.
Yeah.
So they're very close.
Oh, I thought it was.
No, they were lower than our estimate,
Yeah.
but it was, the grouping was good.
Mm.
Let me just see if I can pull up their,
I'm gonna take those sets back, because I have to get my structural engineer and my seal on them. And those are the sets that will go to Whitaker, so he can submit for the building permit.
Yep.
So we're almost done with the seals.
yeah, they're,
The last submission that we're doing, and we'll submit it this week, is we have a submission to make to the Department of Health, and they have to give us an approval letter before we can start any construction on cell construction in the state. So there's a whole process of application submission to Department of Health, and we're coordinating that now. You'll get everything you need. Affidavits, everything you need.
their DCAM score was a 99.
Should we assume that Whitaker knows these guys, G&H, or is this, does,
Not necessarily.
okay.
I haven't asked that question, but no, they just take them off the list.
Yep.
And
Middleborough.
the fact, if they were nervous, they have the right to request a bond from any of these filed subbidders. If they do request a bond, AP Whitaker would have to pay the price of that bond, but it gives some insurance. But AP Whitaker has indicated that they're not requesting a bond from any of the filed subbidders.
Okay.
So they seem to be comfortable that these people are people they want to work with.
So they scored 99, is that based out of 100?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see how many. Yeah, I'm sorry. A failing score is an 80.
Okay.
Or a failing score is a 79, I should say.
They're shooting for 100 on this.
Sorry.
Right.
So that's about it. All good news all around.
Excellent.
Congratulations.
Can I ask one question? Is there any reason why Rita can't send a letter of intent to sign a contract with the Board of Selectmen? So they don't have to wait till next Wednesday?
No? That's your.
So she can get, so they can get the bond and,
They have
Insurance
to award the
certificate.
bid.
It's notice of award. Well, I'm sure Norm would go ahead if we spoke to him and just said, listen, they're gonna be signing it Wednesday. Why don't you get your bonds and insurances in place? You know, we could have probably an offline convo with them.
they just see his ways.
No, absolutely, I think that's a great idea to get a jump on it. I mean, it is kind of a technicality in the sense we have to meet and formally.
Yeah, we couldn't send a formal notice of intent, notice of award until the Board of Selectmen vote on it. But we could certainly, tell him to start
They
moving.
voted recommendation, and it's on the selectmen's
Yeah.
agenda.
Yeah,
And the chair of the board is the chair of this committee too.
yeah. We can certainly have that convo.
It's whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
And what date do you think I should have on the insurance?
April 1st.
April 1st?
Yeah.
As I'm thinking,
That's probably
okay. It's just in my office today.
And another opportunity that you'll have coming up is whether you want a groundbreaking ceremony or not.
Tomorrow, in the snowstorm.
About 2 in the afternoon.
And that's always nice to do.
You should do something.
So it is a political event. It's a meet and greet, and it's gets the word out to the community. So that would be up to you to, if you want to schedule something.
Is that something that the town has done in the past
Yes.
with buildings? Yeah, let's do it then.
That's a good idea. The public.
I gotta tell you how we all scheduled the bidding is gonna be working out perfectly here after, we're getting another storm tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna be out of March, and he's gonna be starting in a perfect condition. He's gonna be ready to go.
A year from now, we're gonna have this meeting in your new facility.
Beautiful. I think so.
Already higher. That would be nice.
Usually I hear that from the police department.
He's a year behind me.
We talked about that today.
So is there anything else we want to talk about before we move on to taking a look at these invoices? Anybody else? Everybody good with this? Guys, thank you for this meeting and the explanation. This is always nice to see this, but I think, yeah, it is all good news. I'm excited about this, so thanks again.
Can I ask one question? So the budget that I've been working with has always been from our schematic design. I know the referendum was for 8 million. I think it was 8 million whole, and then there was monies from another source to cover the additional, or is that how I understand
We had
it?
appropriated money twice at town meeting. What was it, 403?
We have 800.
Or 400 twice? Is that how it worked?
Okay.
So that money was already appropriated for the sake of getting things going,
Yeah.
so to speak. And then we had the referendum for 8 million for the debt exclusion, I should say.
Okay.
So it's 8.8.
This is basing it off of 8722. So in reality, it should be 84 or 88.
Or 88.
88,
Yeah.
whatever number you want.
So that's what I was asking. If we could nail down that number, should I base it off the 88, or should I base it off the 87? Or, you know,
Well,
I just need to know that.
We've got to go out to bid now for the $8 million.
What's the significance of one versus the other?
Your contingency goes up.
yeah, your contingency goes up.
So you have more money to play
They're
with.
under
Yeah.
budget more.
Yeah, sure. You just gain more money in contingency.
Yeah, I see.
And it's another 80,000 and 78,000 in contingency. You're up to 1.5 something.
I mean, if it is truly
I think
8.8.
in the other direction, but
Generator costs
like, let's make it 7.3. But I understand you need the contingency.
Yeah.
Yeah. 8.8, I don't
That's
remember
what
what the
we've got.
numbers are, but if 8.8 was appropriated, we should use the 8.8,
Okay.
would be my opinion.
Then that's great. That's great. I just want to know exactly what number, because I was just using the schematic design estimate number,
Yeah.
and knowing that it was safe.
You guys are down 20.
I knew your referendum didn't end in 10 cents. I knew
Yeah.
that.
I don't know why the estimate did
All the
either. I
bills
was
so
back.
far.
It is the 10 cents
Coming
on
out
that.
of that.
Okay, sorry to interrupt.
Do you have, well, you'll give me an updated after these bills get approved tonight?
Yes, a full rundown of where everything
I'll
stands.
get one from the accountant too.
Just, and I don't know when the appropriate time is, but I know the value engineering, when we took out, I don't know, 300,000, whatever the number was. And almost all of it's not going back, none of it's going back, really. But one of the things I think we gotta consider is the automatic gate openers.
Mhm.
Consider putting that back, because I think that's important.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that should be done now, or we should wait till the next meeting.
Oh, that's for the,
Yeah.
yeah, the car
Yeah.
access.
We have a sliding gate, we have conduit out already for future operator. We would just, you'd have to purchase the operator and power it up.
We put the electric doors back in altogether.
Yeah,
that's Correct.
Not just, that's totally.
Yeah.
Correct, the handicap doors are in.
No, I think that's a great point. We should have a conversation about anything we think appropriate to put back in, because if, like you said, if time is of the essence in terms of all of that.
Well, it's the sooner the better, because then the contractor can plan for it, and they can plan submissions for it. They can prepare pricing, so we can get back to you, and then you make the decision, yes or no, based on a proposal.
Yep.
So if you start that process too late, things are being ordered,
Right.
and you're out of sequence.
Yeah, we're all here, so, I mean, we already know propane is one thing. But how do people feel about the gates? Is that,
Let's say knowing where we are right now. I put the gates back in.
right, I mean, it was a $15,000 item. So, again, we have some room.
So,
It's a reasonable thing.
I would definitely agree that's something we want to move forward on, but pun intended, what I would caution is coming out of the gates, we don't want to start showing the contractor that, oh, let's add this back in, this. He'll get the idea pretty quickly that we're very flush with cash, and change order numbers will start creeping. So what I like,
Watching this.
what I'd like to do is, you kind of put it in order of priority of things you want to add back in. And if things can wait, I'd like to, not only because anything could pop up and you don't want to, spend your money all up front, you want to have it on the back end, but you kind of like to stagger things to add back in.
Well, even with that said, if there's going to be conduits out there, what's the relative cost of doing this after the fact? I mean, right, it's not probably that expensive.
After the fact, after the contractor's gone,
Yeah, I mean, what are our options? I mean, you could probably have somebody come in and,
Yeah, you would substantially get an increase to your proposal if they had to do it later.
Because they still have to run the wire,
Yeah.
tap it into the box.
right. No, I don't know, that's why I'm asking, I have no idea. But, so your recommendation is to keep this in mind, but wait for a more opportune time to,
Well, I think we want to know what your intent is, and then we can know when to pull the trigger on some of these things.
Sure.
Exactly.
But if we
Right.
didn't know it was your intent, and you waited too long, then
right.
you're
So-
gonna be paying more.
Are we good with the gates? I mean, I think I am, like, I know Rich obviously brought it up, so he is. Do we want to just kind of do an informal vote, and just raise a
I
hand if
think
you want the
it's,
gates?
Rich is right, it's an important security piece, so I think that.
Yeah, okay, so, yeah, we definitely want to add that back.
Fine.
You can determine when the best opportunity is to do that.
Yeah. I think ultimately at one of our next meetings, probably our next meeting, we'll have a VE discussion. We'll go through that list. What is there anything on this list or anything additional that anybody wants to add back in? And then Brian and I will kind of go through the process of, okay, these are the things we want to fit in. Here's where we should target talking to the contractor.
It's like
about
Christmas
them.
in April, think about it.
Okay, so yeah, we'll spend some time then at the next meeting talking about that. We had to review and approve the invoices. Did everybody have a chance to look at these? They were sent out last week.
I added them on.
Anybody have any questions? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the invoices.
So move.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries, it's unanimous. Next item on agenda is open discussion, new business. I think we kind of talked a little bit about that. We'll target that for the next meeting.
Any other new business? Anybody want to bring anything else up? All right, when should we meet next?
It could be our kickoff meeting, or after our. Let me get back to you on that.
Okay.
I kind of want to get a schedule from the contractor, an idea of where everything is. I don't want to meet just to meet.
Sure.
So, let me get back to you on that.
Yeah, when do you feel the next meeting wants to be on your end? Once the contractor signed up and has a schedule to start on site? Do you need to know anything prior to that? We'll let you know what the bid results are for the water line, but I
Yeah,
think we're gonna go into a construction cycle.
yeah. I think once we get a construction schedule, that's probably the next time we should meet and have everything to lay out in front of you at that point.
Yeah, that would make the most sense to me.
Do you have some sense of when that might be?
Probably the early to mid-April. If he's aggressive as he says he's gonna be,
I want to move.
he might be out there cutting trees the second week of April.
I was looking in the woods, I thought you were already.
Yeah. He said, today's the first day of spring and tomorrow's Easter. I mean, nor'easter.
Yeah.
All right, so the last thing here is just to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right. So moved. Seconded. All in favor?
All right.
Thanks, everyone.